I know you're afraid. We're all afraid. We're all afraid of many things, really. In this three-dimensional holographic expression of consciousness, whatever you want to call this existence, reality, there are a million things to be afraid of. And as this shift or ascension or whatever you want to call what's going on right now, where the energies are intense and they seem to be swinging and like a pendulum for all of us, and in the world events, you know, things are intensifying on both levels. We see the world in the details seemingly, you know, things getting really intense, and a real resistance is going on. As more people are awakening, more people are embracing love, we're also seeing the other side. We're seeing violence intensifying and conflict and fear. It's all coming up. It's right now, it's just a free-for-all of expression. It always was, but I mean, it definitely seems to be, especially this year, 2012, intensifying. And so, of course, there's a million things we can be, especially the mind. The mind is a great tool. We don't want to hate the mind. It's a wonderful tool, but unfortunately the mind also starts to believe, well, it starts to believe a lot of things, rigid beliefs, concepts, and it starts to form an ego. It starts to believe in itself and believe in what it's thinking. And that is another challenge we have, because really, yes, there's real suffering that happens in the world, but we make it a million times worse in our minds. We really do. If you look at your life, and some people have really, I'm not downplaying them, some people have been through some horrific things, and I'm not necessarily talking about those things, although those are also intensified by the mind, but you know, they are intense. They are. So I'm not downplaying those. I'm just saying that whether it's big things or small things, but especially we see it with the small things. If you look at the whole of your life, you've probably been afraid, and you've probably just, well, you have, absolutely, we all have. You've freaked out 1 trillion times over things, stressed and worried, and it seemed, got in a place where everything just seemed hopeless or whatever. And you came out of it just fine, didn't you? You really do, and everything turns around. It's just the way this plays out. So really the choice comes down to when you're ready to pull yourself out of it. Stop listening to the chatter of the mind and just feel your way through it and follow your heart. And when we follow our heart and our highest vibration, things work out, and they work out quickly. And work out beyond what we could have imagined. And yet the mind forgets. We keep having to remind each other, remind ourselves of what we really are, and the power that we really have, and what's really important, what's really here in front of us, that life is a gift. It's not hell, it's a wonderful gift. And it's our resistance to everything as humans that create the suffering. So, I know you're afraid. I know for a fact you're afraid. And I'm afraid. And one of the first steps, most important step, when you're feeling frozen or locked or hopeless or afraid, is to admit you're afraid to yourself. Just admit it. It's okay. It's not a crime. You know, I have things I'm afraid. I have things I'm afraid of, but I've realized in time that they all just stem from a greater fear, which is the fear of the unknown. What's going to happen in the next 10 minutes? What's going to happen tomorrow? And I think that's also what drives us to the past of when we had good times, or to bad memories, worried that they're going to repeat, right? We see that in relationships. We often attract the same relationships, and the reason is because we kept thinking of the past and dwelling on that feeling, that fear and negativity of what we didn't like about it. And we draw it back to ourselves. So we suffer in it, and we live in the past, and then we draw the same. But when we accept it and forgive and get over it, feel grateful for the challenges, then we seem to move on. So we keep figuring this out. All of us keep figuring out the answers, but then we keep forgetting. It's the irony of the mind. We just constantly need to remind ourselves. I mean, you could have it one day, right? You could just totally be in tune with everything and just be grateful for everything in your life and feel totally everything's okay and my whole life's been amazing. And then, you know, some little turds can hit the fan and things don't turn out the way we want. And then, or sometimes just with these unusual energies, that there's no reason at all. We just wake up and we just don't feel right. And we forget. We slip into a deep forgetfulness. And it's just, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, I don't really know where I'm going with this video. I just wanted to, I know there's a lot of people, there always is, but there's a lot of people right now that are having a really difficult time, that are really suffering. And I love you. And you can get through this. And not only can you get through it, but you can actually transform it. You've done it before. And you can do it again. And it's okay. You haven't made any mistakes. Whatever is. It's meant to be. Once it's happened, that's it. We can't change it. And so if it happened, then it was meant to happen. It's just as simple as that. I mean, you can try to argue and debate and say shoulda, woulda, coulda, you know. But we have to realize that what is, because it is. So we can make ourselves suffer and say, that shouldn't have happened, or I wish this could have been different. But if it was meant to turn out differently, it would have. And it didn't. So life is a gift. We see that. When we look back objectively from a good place, we see that the wonderful memories, the challenges, all of them, everything works out. Everything has a purpose. Everything is leading you through your life. And you're creating it. It's this, you know, we live in a very paradoxical reality. Everything is a paradox. And again, we want to try to accept that too. And so paradoxically, you know, there seems to be a destiny. Each of us seems to be here for a specific reason. And when you look back at your life, you start to see it. Mine, it reads like a roadmap. It's amazing, the synchronicities and how one thing led to another. Seemingly unconnected things connect and lead to something else or to somebody else or whatnot situation. And then you look back, when you especially look back with gratitude on your life, you see, oh yeah, geez, you know, even the bad things, the good things, you know, bad things, good things, it all led to somewhere. So there seems to be a destiny. But on the other hand, we definitely know we're creating it. So what can we do? Try to remember and trust. You know, just trust ourselves and trust the universe, trust whatever this is, this expression, and be grateful for it. It's important to be grateful, especially when you're afraid, especially when you feel down. It's the most important time to do it because that will change everything for you. When we get in the loops of thought and worry, we suffer. We make things worse and we create more of it. And it's natural. I mean, don't beat yourself up over it. It's natural to start going, oh shit, this is what it is. We're very complex organisms. See? Do you agree? Are we complex? Do you find us complex? You're not quite as complex, are you? Are you as complex? Nah, pretty simple. Right now he's thinking one thing. I want pets, and I'm going to sneak up on the swing and solicit pets. That's all he's focusing on right now. And here it comes. Oh, he got scared. There he is. See, how did I know? Where are you going? Where are you going? Hey, where are you going? You smelling the rain? Went for a beautiful walk in the rain. I can't stress it enough. Don't run from the rain. People, it's this, a little sidetrack there, but I've always loved the rain. Again, it's a gift that people run from and they don't like it. And, I can understand if it's like a winter rain and it's freezing, but, other than that, it's such a gift. Go out in it. It's a free gift. So I just went for a nice long walk. What are you doing? I just went for a nice long walk. What's up, buddy? I'm making a video, right? Alright, I better wrap this up. So, sorry if this was muddled. I just feel for everyone going through hard times. My life right now, I love my life. I wouldn't say, I'm living, I'm some people are really shining right now. And we all shine in different, it goes up and down. I'm shining in my own way, but, from the details of my life, I'm struggling financially, and I don't know. There's a lot of big question marks in my life, especially financially. I don't know what's going to go on. Occasionally worry comes up. So I just want to say that, I'm totally thrilled with my life, but it's not perfect, This last year, actually last couple of years, have been really challenging. And the challenges are still here, still coming. So, I'm not sitting in a palace somewhere, absolutely living, I don't know how to say this, because I don't want to downplay, I don't want to sound like I'm putting my life down. I love my life. But I mean, there's still things I want to do, there's things, I would prefer to be differently, financially, whatever. I'd like to have more freedom to do certain things, we're human, there's certain wants. I'd love to live out in the country. Of course, there's still a part of me that, one day would be nice if that idea, it's an idea, find somebody to spend the rest of your life with. All those kind of wants, they're there, but so what I'm rambling and not making sense about is, some people can be intimidating when you see them and they're really living their life. They turn it around and you see, and they're making videos and they're posting and they're just, everything's coming together, and every day seems to be like that for them. And that's fantastic. It's a great example, and don't let that bring you down. Use it as inspiration. But I just wanted to let you know that this is one of those cases. So you can, I definitely can feel where you're coming from. There's challenges in my life. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. My finances have been for some time really, day by day. And everything in my life seems to be day by day. And yet, you know what? Life's wonderful. I'm honored and excited to be here, and so grateful. But anyways, I'm totally rambling, but I know you're afraid. It's okay, confront it. Admit to yourself what you're afraid of, and then let it go. And if you can't completely let it go, it takes time. At least just, you know, don't beat yourself up over it. Just, okay, so it might take time for it to fade off, you know. But the first step is at least just, sometimes we skip over that. We feel the fear, but we're not actually saying, okay, I'm afraid that this is going to happen, you know, say it. Own it. And don't necessarily feel you have to, in doing that, it has to now go away forever. You know, it might go away. That might be the trick. That might be the trick to get rid of it, or it might take some time. That might be a baby step. But first, you know, it's good. Just, it's okay you're afraid. It's totally okay. It's part of this experience. Yes, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? Yes, challenges happen, even traumatic things happen. And when we remember, when we look back at our lives, we see that everything works out. That life is still just totally abundant with gifts. The air in our lungs, the rain outside, the kitty in our lap, the food we just had, the story we just wrote, the song we just heard, the movie we just watched, the funny interaction we just had with that person at the store. You know, the list goes on and on and on. Life is an endless array of gifts. But we forget. And we forget that we're connected to it all. And we get lost in the mind, disconnected, and into worry and fear, and that's okay. The longer we spin in there, the more we suffer. So if we don't want to suffer, then it's just a matter of choice of even being more determined to remember. So remember, you are a powerful creator. You are creating your life. So if you want the direction to change, best thing to do is don't sweat it too much. Just get in that state of gratitude. Do things, whatever it is, big or small, that make you feel connected to yourself, connected to everything. Feel joyful or at peace. Do what feels right. And when you feed that vibration, then guess what? Things, you suffer less. And then you create more of that. You really do. So, no worries. If you can, just trust yourself. Trust life. Shine like only you can shine. Don't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. It's all going to work itself out. It all is as it should be. And with other people, you know, it's you can't fix them. You can help them. And if you're meant to help them, it will happen naturally. When you shine, that's when we help people the most. When we try to help people, sometimes we do, but more times than not, we're really not helping them. Because again, it's efforting from the mind, and it's going to create some resistance with them. But when we shine, you know, we see it with posts. People that post, you know, in the spiritual community, do posts or videos. When they just express, and they're not trying specifically to help anything, they're just shining in their own light and expressing certain things, that's when you see, oh, this can't, you know, you see that I get them all the time. I see other people get them all the time. Comments that are like, this came just at the right time. This came, see, you helped them. People will get the help they need. You will help them by just being the change, by being yourself, by living the life you want to and shining. When you do that, you will naturally do things that are going to help people. So you don't have to try. Trying is actually where we screw up. Stop trying to be and just be. Stop trying to help and you'll help. So they'll get the help they need. And it's not your job anyways to fix people. And you're not a victim. You're not a victim. We play the role of victim sometimes, but you're not a victim. You're not a victim at all. You're a powerful creator. You co-created whatever it is you feel a victim of. You co-created it because you needed to go through it. And when you're done with that experience, because that's really what it is, isn't it? People finally, when they, say it's an abusive or relationship or whatever, when they finally, the soul has had enough of that experience and it wants to experience something else, sometimes it takes a lot of suffering and a lot of drama. But eventually, what happens? They finally change their perspective, they change their focus, and everything changes in their life, and they move on and do wonderful things. So, I better wrap this up. This is a big ramble. What are we at? 21. So I don't know if I had any real point except that, I know you're afraid. I know you're going through hard times, a lot of you. Well, we all are, it's really. And that's okay. Roll with it. You are loved. You are love. You are a powerful creator. The mind, remember, the mind is a wonderful tool. But don't let it run the show. And if it's running the show, that's a good time to just meditate or do anything that's kind of meditative, whether it could be something physical like running or horseback riding or whatever clears your mind. Art, music, dance, walking in nature, whatever. Because that's all really meditation is, a way to clear the mind. So we all meditate in our own way. So whatever your type of natural meditation is that works for you, if you find your mind spinning in the details, first thing you can do is just put a stop to that. And then you'll start to feel less suffering. You'll start to feel better. Then you can run with that. You can run with that ball then. Once you've done that, then you can start doing things that make you feel good. And then that feeling, backing talkwards, that feeling builds. And then a new direction, a new vibration is created. But you know all this. We all know this, but we forget. So I guess I'm just making this video to say, remember. Remember. You are greater than all this. You know it. You can feel it. When you're at peace, you can feel you're connected to everything. You can feel the power within you. You've got nothing to fear. And it's okay if you do. But it's all just our own creation. We're powerful creators. We create these dramas. So you can rise to the occasion. You will rise to the occasion. Everything is working according to plan. You cannot make a mistake. You are amazing. Go shine your light.